Imagine being inside a car costing just $12,000 and, even after a serious accident, still being able to breathe, see, and escape safely, all without electricity. It sounds like fiction, but that's precisely the silent proposition behind the 2026 Tesla Model 2. What many people don't know is that behind the aggressive price and minimalist design lies a survival engineering worthy of elite vehicles. The star of this hidden layer of safety is a 12-volt emergency circuit, completely independent of the main 53 kW battery. It doesn't appear in brochures or make headlines, but it's what can make the difference between panic and salvation. This small backup power system was designed to function when everything else fails. While conventional electric cars rely exclusively on the main battery, the Model 2 continues to function for up to 15 minutes with this parallel circuit. And we're not talking about luxury or comfort here. We're talking about life. This extra time powers the airbags, activates emergency lights, unlocks doors and windows, and keeps the system thinking, even if the car's main brain is offline. It's as if the vehicle has a last gasp of consciousness dedicated solely to protecting you. The curious thing is that this 12-volt circuit, despite its apparent simplicity, hides powerful engineering. It consists of a small lithium-ion battery capable of releasing current peaks of up to 50 amperes, enough to power door locks, gas cylinders, and safety mechanisms. This happens in milliseconds, even before the human body registers the impact. While the driver's reflexes try to understand what is happening, the car has already made vital decisions. And most surprisingly, this entire process occurs without depending on the main control structure. It's a redundant and isolated architecture designed to operate independently. Tesla created a second level of command, which only kicks in when it detects a failure in the primary system. The separation between the traction circuit and the survival circuit is not symbolic. It's physical, electrical, and logical. This ensures that even in accidents that split the car in half or completely disconnect the main battery, this energy reserve continues to function. The robustness of this system shows that, contrary to what many believe, an affordable car doesn't have to be vulnerable. The Model 2 presents a design philosophy that treats safety as a priority from the most basic circuits. It's not about putting a flashy red button on the dashboard or an automatic audible alarm. It's about creating a system that works silently, without depending on luck, human action, or a magic button. A system that knows what to do when nobody else does. Behind this choice lies the experience gained with previous Tesla models. What was exclusive to the Model S or Model Y now arrives compressed, adapted, and hidden under the hood of a car that promises to revolutionize the entry-level segment. And that's the most fascinating thing. The Model 2 doesn't loudly proclaim its safety merits because it was designed to function when no one is paying attention, during chaos. With its 12V circuit, the Model 2 redefines what cheap means in the world of electric vehicles. It doesn't just deliver a competitive price or cut parts to reduce costs. It transforms the concept of safety, applying intelligent technology to areas that most automakers don't even consider priorities in cars of this segment. And in doing so, it sheds light on what really matters when it comes to survival: time, responsiveness, and structural range. It's no exaggeration to say that this secondary circuit makes the car think after a breakdown. Even without central power, even with the systems shut down, the Model 2 continues to operate the essentials. It stays alive just long enough to ensure that you do too. And perhaps that's the real revolution behind the $12,000 price tag. A vehicle that, without making a fuss, was designed to protect, even in the dark. Now that critical systems continue to function even without mains power, the next step is to ensure that the occupant can exit the car in record time, and with minimal effort. This was one of the boldest changes in the Model 2's design: the automatic release of the doors in case of impact. It's the kind of function that goes unnoticed in everyday life, but becomes absolutely vital the moment everything goes out of control. Here, there is no room for human error. The system doesn't ask, doesn't wait, and doesn't hesitate. It acts before anyone even understands what happened. It all starts with a network of sensors hidden within the car's structure. These are accelerometers, gyroscopes, and pressure gauges that scan the environment in real time. When a shock is detected, whether by the force of the impact or by a change in cabin pressure, a dedicated microcontroller takes over. It doesn't depend on the central computer, nor does it need authorization from the main software. Its only mission is clear and definitive: to unlock the doors as quickly as possible. And this happens in fractions of a second. The system's logic is brutally efficient. Upon detecting a sudden deceleration of 20 gross or more, or a pressure increase of 15 psi inside the cabin, the independent module kicks in and activates the door actuators. But the most impressive aspect is the type of mechanism used: pyrotechnic locks. That's right, small explosive charges, controlled with surgical precision, that release the door locking pins in the same way that occurs in aircraft emergency hatches, all powered by the 12V circuit that was already active even before the driver noticed the collision. This type of approach completely changes the philosophy of vehicle rescue. Instead of relying on someone pulling a door handle or pressing a hidden button, the Model 2 anticipates the situation. It eliminates human steps from the equation. After all, in moments of panic, the body freezes, fingers tremble, and the mind shuts down. And that's exactly where the machine needs to be faster than a human being. Not out of technological arrogance, but as a matter of life or death. Even if the collision disables the multimedia system or compromises the main control system, the door actuators will have already done their job. Energy consumption is negligible, less than 10 watts per door. All this is guaranteed by that discrete survival circuit that operates separately. When all the main systems fail, this parallel architecture ensures a real physical way out, not a hope, not a flashing light, but the concrete liberation of whatever is trapping the occupant inside the car. The absence of human intervention in this process also avoids common failures in other vehicles. In conventional models, the occupant needs to pull a lever, break the window, or wait for outside help. This consumes time, and time is what you have least of when there is fire, smoke, or submersion. In the Model 2, the unlocking happens before anyone can blink. It's a meticulously calculated chain reaction, where every millisecond counts. This level of automatic response would be inconceivable in previous generations of popular cars. The closest thing to it would be manual emergency systems, usually hidden and difficult to access in a panic. Here, everything is handled by sensors, codes, and logic programmed for the worst possible scenario. The Model 2, therefore, not only survives the impact, it immediately provides you with an escape route. Therefore, what seems like a simple technical detail, the automatic unlocking of doors, actually reveals an engineering approach completely focused on the reality of an accident. It doesn't matter how cheap the car is. What matters is that, even with reduced costs, it reacts intelligently and quickly in the most critical moments. And the fact that all this happens silently, in the quiet of an autonomous safety system, is perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this new generation of vehicles. The same automatic response logic extends to even more extreme scenarios, such as drowning or fire. And here, the Model 2 takes a bold leap, treating the impossible as a problem solvable by engineering. Most cars, including luxury electric cars, are not prepared for sudden submersion or a rapid fire. They simply collapse. The Model 2, however, reacts. When the external environment becomes a lethal threat, sensors scattered throughout the vehicle activate an emergency protocol that could very well have come from a science fiction movie. It all begins with 3 sensors working together as a silent emergency team: an inclinometer that measures the vehicle's roll angle, a pressure sensor that detects abrupt changes around the cabin, and electrodes positioned at the base of the doors that identify the presence of conductive water. If all three sensors simultaneously confirm an anomaly, the car assumes it is sinking, and it is at this moment that it executes an automatic and irreversible evacuation sequence. First, the hydraulic motors in the door jams kick in. They release the internal pressure from the rubber seals, which, under normal conditions, would prevent water from entering. But underwater, these seals become a prison. The system relieves this pressure in just 400 milliseconds, allowing the door to be opened manually, or even automatically if the electronics are still active. It's a small design adjustment that makes all the difference when you're fighting for oxygen. If the doors are locked due to deformation or structural failure, the windows are the second line of escape. Electrical controls, powered by a 12-volt circuit, lower the windows by up to 10 centimeters. It seems like a small amount, but this tiny opening is enough to break the vacuum created by submersion and equalize the pressure. Without it, the occupant would be trapped as if in a sealed safe. The partially lowered window becomes the only functional exit in an environment where every second is precious. In the event of a fire, the logic is reversed. Instead of allowing air to enter, the car seeks to isolate it as much as possible. Thermal sensors positioned near the firewall and rear battery monitor the internal temperature. When it exceeds 82 degrees and remains at that level for more than 5 seconds, the system interprets this as a fire in progress. Then, it releases all exhaust vents and activates a reverse ventilation system that expels hot gases from the top of the vehicle, preventing smoke from recirculating into the cabin. Meanwhile, the cabin gains between 60 and 90 seconds of breathable air. It may seem like a short time, but this extra time allows the occupant to orient themselves, move around, and consciously exit the vehicle. This type of thermal and mechanical response has never been seen in an entry-level car. Normally, electronic systems collapse in the heat, leaving the occupant alone amidst the chaos. The Model 2, powered by its autonomous 12V network, continues to operate even when the structure is on fire. It's worth remembering that all of this happens without the user needing to give a single command. There's no button to press, no app to open. The car decides on its own, based on real-time physical data. This eliminates the risk of human hesitation, fainting, panic, or any other variable that could compromise reaction in critical situations. Instead of relying on luck or the help of others, the occupant has an invisible and aggressively efficient protocol. In a world where electric car fires still cause fear, the Model 2 proposes a change in narrative. It doesn't deny the risk. It confronts it with code, sensors, and cold logic. And if the car has already been designed to react to its worst moments, with the same intelligence it uses to run silently every day, perhaps public confidence in electric vehicles will finally reach a new level. In even more extreme cases, when all the vehicle's electronics fail completely, whether due to a devastating collision, a short circuit, or a flood that compromises even the backup system, the Model 2 still holds one last trump card: its manual mechanical features. It may seem contradictory in such a modern car, but it is precisely this return to its origins that guarantees a final level of safety. Even if the entire car becomes an inert piece of metal, the front doors can still be opened the old-fashioned way. This mechanical mechanism doesn't depend on electricity, batteries, or sensors. It's activated by a physical lever, discreetly located next to the door handle, designed to be intuitive even in the dark or under pressure. A simple pull releases the door latch without any electronic intervention. It's a deliberate redundancy, designed precisely for situations where everything else fails. And anyone who thinks this is standard is mistaken. Most modern electric vehicles don't have a complete mechanical solution on all doors. This layer of safety was inherited from previous Tesla models, such as the Model 3, but it was refined in the Model 2 to be more accessible and functional. The idea is not to sophisticate, but to simplify, to keep the essentials in a practical way. In an era where everything is touchscreen and software, the Model 2 puts a lever where it really matters. Because when the sensors fail, when the systems lock up and time is running out, direct contact with the car's structure may be the only chance to escape alive. But this approach doesn't stop there. The commitment to durability extends to the entire powertrain. The Model 2 was designed to last, not just in structure, but also in performance. Its next-generation electric motor is designed to last up to 300,000 kilometers, the equivalent of about 15 years of average use. This longevity is uncommon in cars in this price range and is the result of a design that focuses less on ostentation and more on raw efficiency. This durability is complemented by the robustness of the LFP, lithium iron phosphate battery, one of the most stable and degradation-resistant chemistries. It allows for approximately 3,000 complete charge and discharge cycles. For the average user, this means charging the car every day for more than 8 years without noticing a drop in range. And even after that time, the battery would still retain a good portion of its original capacity. This eliminates the old idea that cheap electric cars need to be disposable. By combining a robust motor and a long-lasting battery, the Model 2 breaks an important barrier: the notion that affordable cars cannot be reliable in the long term. It is not only reliable, it's designed to be inherited, traded in, and reused. Tesla wants to prove that it's possible to make a popular electric car that isn't a risky gamble, but a rational decision. And this changes how the public views the relationship between cost and durability. Furthermore, this combination of durability and simplicity contributes to a new kind of perceived value. It's not just about the purchase price, but about how much you save on maintenance, downtime, or premature replacement. The Model 2 aims to be more than just an entry-level car. It wants to be a long-term partner, and it does this not with advertising promises, but with real, discreet, and extremely effective technical solutions. When we add all of this together, the autonomous safety features, the manual mechanisms, and the long-term engineering, the Model 2 completely distances itself from the stereotype of a cheap car. It takes on an almost symbolic role, proving that affordability doesn't have to mean vulnerability, that it's possible to put a low-cost vehicle on the market that is also a reliable mobile refuge, whether in daily life or in the midst of chaos. All of this becomes even more compelling when you analyze the real cost of keeping the Model 2 running. It's not enough to be cheap to buy. The real challenge is being cheap in real-world use, month after month. And that's where the $12,000 Tesla surprises once again, eliminating entire layers of maintenance that, in combustion engine vehicles, seem inevitable. Forget about engine oil, timing belt, transmission fluid, or exhaust system. None of that exists here. With only 20 moving parts in the electric motor, compared to almost 2,000 in a gasoline engine, the chance of something going wrong drops dramatically. The absence of complex maintenance already significantly eases the financial burden, but the Model 2 goes even further. The regenerative braking system reduces brake pad wear by up to 60%, reusing the energy from deceleration to recharge the battery. In other words, even the brakes, which usually require constant maintenance in city cars, last much longer here. This not only reduces direct costs, but also reduces time and headaches with repair shops. And for many people, that's invaluable. Another important detail is the absence of complex transmissions. The Model 2's electric motor delivers torque directly to the wheels, eliminating gears and mechanical components prone to failure.